From some of the best character dynamics, to incredible lightsaber fights, to even better lore, the Star Wars universe has it all. With that said, Clone Wars fans are excited about the new Ahsoka show that just got a huge update. Since there haven't really been any proper dates or information released yet, many people really thought that it just wasn't happening. That, or they just assumed that it's pretty far off. While there still isn't an official date for the show, there's some hope that you will likely see it around the end of 2023. Of course, just like any Disney show, it will come out on its streaming platform, Disney+. But there's even more news that confirms that the show is for sure coming out soon. The star of the show, Rosario Dawson, talked about how it will come out in the fall of 2023. That's great news for everyone waiting for more incredible Star Wars content based on one of the best characters out there. But there are still a ton of questions about the show, the biggest of them being whether it's going to be a one-season thing. There's a lot of confusion about this one, though you'd expect it to be the exact opposite of that, especially since Disney has announced the show as a miniseries. But you've got to keep in mind that it will be part of the entire Mandalorian arc they're setting up, and there's a high chance that it turns into something more. Not just that, but Disney has a habit of bringing back shows that are supposed to be miniseries as the full thing. I mean, the biggest example of that has to be Loki, but in the end, that's only going to happen if the show does well enough in earnings. And the only way it'll ever do that is if it's actually a good show. But given that recent Star Wars shows have really taken it up a notch, they're bound to put the best product out there. And a character as loved and famous as Ahsoka is bound to be a hit in the live-action scene, especially since people loved her cameo in The Mandalorian. Speaking of that, is there a trailer out yet? Sadly, there isn't a trailer out yet, but there might be a very good reason for that. One of the biggest reasons that fans are theorizing is that it might have some spoilers for other upcoming shows. You can't forget that they did the same for Obi-Wan 2, releasing the trailer almost right before the show actually came out. So it's highly likely that they just want to keep things under wraps for now and get people hyped up for it when it's coming out.
In a way, Grogu and I can feel each other's thoughts. That's his name. He was raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Wars when the Empire rose to power.
Though there's also some speculation that you could possibly get to see it somewhere around April of 2023. Other than that, the Star Wars celebration for 2023 is around May too, so things could align, and you could see the trailer out pretty soon. But with confirmation that the show is coming out, there isn't a lot of bad news, even if the trailer takes a while to come out. On the other hand, what's the show going to be about? Considering that it's another project from the Star Wars universe, there's almost no information to go off of. You'd think that they'd at least give viewers a few hints about the show's plot, but nope. But fret not, her cameo from The Mandalorian and the overall direction that the plot is going over there gives you a few hints about where it could go. In fact, that cameo by itself is more than enough to let you know about her plans. Of course, you find that out after one of the coolest battles in the entire show, as they finally defeat Morgan Elsbeth. Turns out that now she wants to go after the one and only Grand Admiral Thrawn, the very same one that was one of the biggest villains that the characters from Star Wars Rebels had to face off against.
Admiral Constantine.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Grand Admiral?
The Emperor recently promoted me after my victory at Baton.
So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how she goes about doing that, and if she's going to succeed. Not just that, but everyone knows that he's one of the most terrifying villains in the entire franchise. So it's super cool to finally see him in action in a live-action show. Since Rebels ended up on pretty much a cliffhanger, this might also be a good time for them to link the two shows. Ahsoka could potentially act as the continuation of one of the best shows from the franchise. With that said, there has been talk about whether Darth Vader Vader could return. Considering that in the Star Wars timeline, he's still alive at this point, there could be a chance that he's going to come back. What makes it even more likely is a recent report by none other than The Hollywood Reporter. Around the start of 2023, they claimed that Hayden Christensen had once again signed on as the character. He did come on before in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, so it isn't completely unlikely either, especially since it would drive fans mad with excitement if Ahsoka going up against her former master happened on the screen. It's arguably one of the best parts of the entire franchise. In fact, people have wanted that ever since Ahsoka first showed up as Anakin's apprentice. But even if he does, there's still a chance that you get to see a fallen Anakin instead of Darth Vader himself. But sadly, that's all I can tell you about the Darth Vader thing. Disney is going harder on keeping secrets with Ahsoka for some reason, but that only gets me even more excited about it. Admittedly, it is the golden age of Star Wars content, and you're probably going to be expecting a really good show from them, and I can't fault you for that, and I'm expecting something incredible too. Everyone wants this incredible character to get the show she deserves. And finally, who's going to be in the cast? You really can't have a Star Wars show without an absolute banger cast behind it, especially with someone as talented as Rosario Dawson from Daredevil playing the main character Ahsoka. Speaking of Ahsoka, there might be some cameos from the character's voice actor in the animated shows. I'm of course talking about Ashley Eckstein.
My love of Star Wars started in my living room. We had this glorious orange shag carpet, but to me, it was like the desert.
You've also got other big names, such as Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Ivana Sacknow, and even Ray Stevenson joining the cast. Though there's not a lot of information about their roles yet, they're going to be major ones, that is for sure. But that's not all. The character's master, at least before he went to the dark side, is coming back. Of course, I'm talking about Anakin Skywalker, and he's going to be played by none other than Hayden Christensen. I mean, who else could pull the villain off better than him? Not just that, but one of Ahsoka's closest friends is making it to the live-action scene too. It's none other than Sabine Wren.
I believe I can learn to use that sword. I just don't want everything that comes with it.
You mean your family?
I'm a disgrace to them, Ezra.
Who's going to be played by Natasha Liu Bordizzo. For those who don't know, she's the same Mandalorian who had the Darksaber before Moff Gideon got his hands on it, so you're probably going to find out more about how he got it from her. And finally, Iman Esfande is going to be playing another character from the Rebels animated show, the young Jedi Ezra Bridger.
Ezra, can you hear me? The purple, is it you?
Yeah! Pretty good, huh?
Well, you could have told the rest of us.
I wanted it to be a surprise.
Though previously it was suspected that Mina Masood could be playing him, the actor posted a tweet to make it official. That's a look at why Season 1 of Ahsoka may be closer than expected.